Hi everyone! Today I am super excited to share with you a non-toxic, non-hazardous, safe to use indoors with no personal protection equipment way to add glitter to my acrylic keychains. It's called Brite Tone and it's super easy to use, so let's get started. First step is you're going to want to remove the plastic covering from the back side or one side of your Keychain Blank. Most all of the acrylic Keychain Blanks come with a protective coating. Leave the protective coating on the other side so we can keep it nice and clean while we're putting glitter on this side. And what we're going to want to do next is take sandpaper. Use 400 grit sandpaper. This one I got from the Crystalac website, but you can use any 400 grit sandpaper that you want. And then go ahead and lightly sand the surface. And then take a lint-free rag and go ahead and wipe off all of your dust. That just preps the surface for your Brite Tone. And the next step is to apply the Brite Tone. I store my Brite Tone in this Wilton. It's, I believe, for melted chocolate or it's for candy making, but it works perfectly for the Brite Tone. And the key to applying it is you want to apply a thin layer. And the great thing about Brite Tone is the bubbles will work themselves out and it's also self-leveling. So if you just get it, spread it across the whole area, it'll go ahead and smooth itself out. Now I'm just using my finger, it's non-toxic, so I'm totally comfortable doing that. You can use a glove and use a gloved finger if you prefer. It's totally what you feel comfortable with. Make sure you get out to all the edges, especially around the hole, but also make sure it's just a thin layer. Okay, and I'm gonna give that a second to self-level. Okay, with my first coat of Brite Tone on there, now I'm gonna add my glitter. So dump it on nice and thick if that's the look you're going for. Make sure you get out to the edges. And don't worry about doing excess. You can always just dump it right back into the bottle when you're done. Okay, I think that's sufficiently covered. I'm gonna let it set for a few minutes. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, it's had a little time to set up, but it's definitely not dry. I'm going to lightly put some parchment paper over and lightly press the glitter down. That way it's all smooth and flat and compacted. Now we wait 3.5 more hours. Okay, we're 4 hours later, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to dump off all of the excess glitter. And when I do that, I can see there are spots that are a little lighter on the glitter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over it one more time. I'm gonna put another layer of Brite Tone on it and more glitter. And I'll come back in about 30 minutes and press it down. And I'm gonna press the glitter down again. I'm gonna put my parchment on top and I'm going to run a brayer over it, or you can just press down gently using your fingers. And we will let it set for 3.5 more hours. Okay, now we are going to dump off all the excess glitter. And take a look at it and make sure it looks like you want it to. It looks great. I don't see any spots that need touching up. Usually it takes 1 or 2 coats of glitter. I've never had to do 3. But, you know, get it to the look that you want it. So then what we're gonna do next is we're just gonna continue to layer the keychain with Brite Tone. So I'm gonna do 3 more layers with 4 hours in between. And then I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm gonna do probably 3 more layers. And this is all based on your preference, when it looks shiny enough, when it looks smooth enough, when it looks good enough for you. But that's usually about the routine I stick to, and it usually works out pretty well. So let's see if it works for this one. I've done 3 coats on top of my glitter, so now I am going to sand it down a little bit to make it smooth, and then apply, depending, probably about 3 more coats. Even out the glitter. Take your lint-free cloth, remove all the dust. And this is about the time that I just kind of clean out my hole there with an X-Acto knife. And I'm gonna go ahead and put another layer on. So our 6th coat is dry, it's smooth, it's shiny, it's exactly the way I want it to look. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean this out again, this hole out again with my X-Acto knife. I'm going to apply my vinyl design, this paintbrush stroke, which is on a patterned permanent vinyl. The vinyl and the design are linked below if you're interested in them. And when I apply it, I'm going to do the wet method, which is where you just get a little squirt of water. And then you go ahead and you put your vinyl on. And then what that does is it allows you to get all the air bubbles out before it fully sticks. So you have a nice, smooth application of vinyl with no air bubbles. Just be careful when you pull your transfer tape back. Depending on the design, since it doesn't stick completely until it dries, it could come up a little bit. And I'm going to give that a minute just to dry a little bit, and then I'm going to start my layers of Brite Tone. And on the front, I'm going to do the same thing minus the glitter step. So I'm going to do 1 layer, 4 hours dry, 2 layers, 4 hours dry, 3 layers, 4 hours dry, sand it up a little bit, and then layer, dry, layer, dry, layer, dry. So 3 more layers after that. And if it looks good at that point in time, I'll stop. But I found that it takes a good 5-6 layers for you to get that nice, shiny, glossy look. So that is the plan for the front.